The third and last part of this view into the future of journalism, that's going on now. Let me introduce some examples of young journalists who have taken a stand and actively worked for bringing more nuance and constructive journalism into their profession. Please welcome Alexandra Hardelein from Germany. That was not Alexandra, but she will be there.
Thank you for being part of the conference.
Yes. Hello. You've started your own media, and Sarah Oliver from Australia. You have been among the first students in Australia to be taught constructive journalism. Sarah should also be here somewhere. No, but she will be there. And then we have Rikke Snede. There she is. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. And also Rikke Snede-Ockels, who was there before. You have written an essay that we're going to talk about in a minute. Thank you all for joining. Hi. Starting with you, Alexandra. Why did you start your own media?
I started my own media because I saw that there's a big gap between people in my age. I'm 32 years old, and there's a big gap between my generation reading not newspaper anymore and me as doing journalism for a regional newspaper. And before, my big aim as a young journalist was to be a journalist abroad in Middle East, or for example in Brussels, to make articles about the European Union or the political issues in Middle East. And there I recognize that that democracy is a really fragile thing, and we have to save it for next generations. And also I saw how hate could divide societies in other countries, and I don't want to see that in my region, but I saw the information gap between newsmakers and news consumers, and that was the reason why I said, okay, I have to do it anyway different.
So you decided to make something, you decided to make a change. What did you do?
First of all, in January, I've quitted my unlimited job position after 14 years working for the newspaper. And in April and May, I've started Lokalblog Nürnberg. I can give you the link later. And we are the first media enterprise, independent, advertising free, only financed in future by the members. And we are doing as first media enterprise in Germany, constructive journalism only, with topics which are still relevant tomorrow, not only the fast issues like new supermarket here, waste problem in street XYZ.
And you're a local media. How do you do that?
We are a local media, started while coronavirus, means we are working digitally only. It was our plan before, because my generation is only on digital channels available. We are doing constructive journalism on a local level. First of all, on our website, in our newsletter, on social media like Facebook or Instagram. And of course, we are also meeting up with our guys, with our community digitally, via Zoom, for example, or also in real life. We had one meeting until today because COVID-19 doesn't let us other chances right now. But we want to meet up with our community in the future.
Sarah, let's go to you. There's a strong growing interest in Australia for constructive journalism. Can you tell us a little bit about why?
Yeah, sure. I think that the media in Australia has realised that it is time to sort of take that next step further in journalism. And, you know, especially we'll be discussing it in our interactive session in a few more hours, but with the sort of relationship between media and politics is you know, it's been getting really intense. And this year especially has been an interesting look at politics and media. But I think that we realised that we need to gain the trust back of the public as well. And I think that constructive journalism is a way to do both of those things. It's to regain that trust from the public and also to create a better relationship between politics and the media.
How come? Why do you think that?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Yeah, how do you think that you can gain back the trust of people by doing constructive journalism?
Sure. Well, I think the reason why so many people are not trusting us as much anymore, are a bit more untrustworthy of the media at the moment, is because it is so negative all the time, as we've talked about already. And I think that people are wanting to see more solutions. So by doing constructive journalism, as we know, offering solutions to people to resolve issues that we're presenting to them, I think will help them to regain some trust and to know that journalists actually are caring. You know, we actually do want to help society. We want to help the public. We care about what is happening. So I think, that will help to regain the trust there.
We've heard several times now that some of the critics of constructive journalism, they're worried that it will just be positive stories and that we will skip investigating journalism and stuff. What is the reaction you meet when you talk about constructive journalism?
When I talk about it with my peers, now that we've learnt what it is, we understand that it is more than that. But you're right, I think people hear constructive journalism and they think that it's all the fluffy stories that they put at the end of the news bulletin to try and force you to feel better. So I guess, it's just about creating that conversation and letting people know that constructive journalism is not just that. And it is constructive stories are not always positive. Sometimes they are actually still upsetting and negative. But hopefully now that we're seeing more of it in Australia, people can start to understand exactly what it is.
So it's spreading out. You're still a student. When did you meet it at journalism school?
It was actually only in the middle of this year. We started learning about it in this second semester of my second year. I was surprised I'd never actually really heard of it before, or I never realised what it was. I've seen a few stories already that I didn't realise were constructive or considered constructive. It was only just this year.
Yeah, we're talking about how we should think of constructive journalism. Is it a tool? Is it a mindset? What is it? How do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's more than a mindset for sure, because I think there are some, I guess, rules, for want of a better word, of what makes a constructive story, which was part of a lot of our assignments this semester, was creating constructive stories where we ask the question, what's next? And that sort of did help my mindset, but it was also, that was literally part of the assignment, was we had to ask that question and we had to involve that in our assignment. So I think it's a bit of both. I think it's both mindset and a bit of a tool.
Let me ask you the same question, Rege. How do you think about constructive journalism? Is it a tool for you, or is it more a mindset that you can actually bring with you whenever you do journalism? And sometimes you use it a lot and sometimes you use it less, but you're always a journalist, going with your mindset on being investigate and doing your journalist job.
Well, I think maybe it has kind of become a mindset. It's still quite new to me, but I think that I definitely think about covering the nuances, and in that way, it's more than just a tool.
You wrote this essay. You're on the same selected course as Zina and Emilia. And you wrote that in the beginning you were thinking about constructive journalism as some kind of branch. And now you kind of go around it and you think more of it as the trunk of the tree. Explain us why.
Well, I think that constructive journalism needs to be a bigger part of journalism in general, because maybe it can be a part of the solution to a lot of issues the media is facing, like news avoidance. If we do cover the solutions and the nuances, perhaps it will spark some hope in people instead of them just shutting their eyes and ears to things.
Alexandra, let me go back to you. Now you said that you would be a media that covers stories in a constructive way. What is it to you that makes constructive journalism worth doing?
For me, constructive journalism is, I'm also working on a study about the impact of constructive journalism. And one of our members in the survey told me, it's not more than telling the story until the end. And that's constructive journalism. And I really like the idea, because it's nothing more than, okay, we have an issue, but what could be the solution? It's not about good news to say, okay, this is the solution, everybody has to do the same, but it's more like, okay, this could be a solution, let's check, double check. If it could be a solution for here, if not, okay, then we have to try another one, but it could be that this or that or whatever could work. And to show the people that, and to give them a more positive feeling while consuming news, is my big aim for the way of constructive journalism we do.
Sounds good. So you give your aim is to make more nuances, present more possible solutions, and give people a feeling that they can actually do something about problems, or what kind of feeling?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Every article which we are publishing should show you in our city, as inhabitant, what you can do in front of your own door. For example, climate change, everybody's talking about, but you often don't know, what can I really do in my city? And we talk about that, and for example, show you other people who are active for fighting against the climate change, for example. And through showing you other people who are doing stuff like this, you can try to come in contact with these people, because we try to show how you can contact them. And at the end, hopefully we can serve for a better together in our society and communities as well.
So how do you think about constructive journalism? Is it a tool for you, or is it a mindset?
For me?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's not only a tool. I recognize it while every story we are trying by the research of every story, because you have to think from the beginning, what is the main point of my story? What do I want to tell the people? Not to say, okay, this must be the solution, but to know, okay, at the end, we want to have anything constructive, nuanced solutions, whatever, which could be the main point of our story, which is different from the stories other medias are telling right now in our region here.
So what about stories that's really huge in your region? You cannot, you cannot go into a cafe, people are talking about it, and you can't really see a solution, but it will be a fantastic journalistic job to dig into the story. What do you do with a story like that?
We have telephones like everybody, and we have internet like everybody. And I guess it should be, or it is, the main task for us journalists to do research, and not only to talk to people, to one person and say, okay, this must be my solution. It's more like, okay, let's see what other persons worldwide have done yet. That's why I also admire this conference, because we are in contact from different countries, from different continents, and talk about, okay, what can every one of us serve for a better world? And to find something like this out, for example, we had the major elections in March. It was our first article, my first constructive article for my Lokalblog Nürnberg. And we had to vote because of COVID-19 by mail. Means was writing at home, not in an election office, for example. And the question from my generation was, why don't we vote digitally? It's so easy. And at the end, I had calls, for example, to Estonia, because they are so far in front of us for doing stuff digitally. And at the end, okay, we had the solution. Okay, it won't work in Germany because you have the two gaps: transparency on the one hand and secret, top secret vote on the other hand won't work together as it should be by law in Germany. But this is one story. So we can watch over the continent, over the seas, and see what others are doing. And I admire this job.
And that is exactly what we're doing today. We get inspired by all you fantastic people around the world. Thank you so much for participating, Alexandra, and good luck with the media. Also you, Sarah, good luck with the exams and good luck with your studies as a journalist in Australia. And also you, Rikke, thank you for participating. One last question for you, Rikke. Now you're going to your internship. What are you going to bring from constructive journalism to your internship?
Well, I think that generally I would try to bring the nuances into the stories and not just the conflict or two parts disagreeing about something.
Good luck to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all for participating.